Rangers are at the center of a transfer storm. Karl Hein on the brink of a sensational Ibrox move that could shake up the #1 spot. Cyriel Dessers dropping the biggest hint yet that he's staying put despite big money offers from Greece. Nobel Mendy slipping through our fingers at the last moment. And Kris Boyd lighting a fire under the new Leeds United connection with talk of a potential raid. This is a summer of high drama, huge decisions and bold moves, and it's all kicking off right now. Arsenal have thrown the doors wide open for Karl Hein to leave, and Rangers are standing right at the front, ready to walk through. The 23-year-old Estonian international has been with the Gunners for over 7 years, but his path to their first team has been more congested than the M8 at rush hour. Just one senior appearance in all that time, despite being highly rated by Mikel Arteta, and now the North London club are actively encouraging bids. Not loans, not maybe next year, but a straight-up permanent deal. Russell Martin's been a busy man this summer. 10 new signings through the Ibrox gates, each one adding depth and competition to a squad determined to wrestle the title back from Celtic. But the one area he's not touched yet, goalkeeper. And while Jack Butland remains a fan favourite, his season's been a mix of Champions League heroics and Premiership wobbles. Let's not forget he lost his place to Liam Kelly towards the end of last term. And there's been talk Martin wants a keeper more comfortable with the ball at his feet. That's where Hein comes in. Hein's CV is an odd mix. On one hand, 39 caps for Estonia, twice named their Young Footballer of the Year, and a full season in La Liga with Real Valladolid. On the other, that Valladolid side finished rock bottom, conceding 90 goals, with Hein between the sticks for 31 of those matches. The raw numbers don't flatter him. 68 goals conceded, a save percentage of 58.5, and a goals prevented stat in the minus column. But there's context. He was facing constant bombardment in a side hopelessly outgunned, and yet still pulled off saves that had Spanish commentators losing their voices. This summer, Arsenal's pre-season gave us a glimpse of his true ability. Penalty saves against Philip Billing and Ryan Christie in a shootout win over Bournemouth. Reaction stops that made you wonder why he hasn't been playing more. Arteta himself has been full of praise, describing Hein as sharp, prepared, and constantly improving. That's not the sort of language a manager uses for a dud. The competition is real. Sevilla fancy him, Levante want him on loan, and there's probably a few other suitors watching closely. But Arsenal's stance could work in Rangers' favour. They want the cash now, and Rangers, with European football and a shot at silverware, can offer a platform Hein won't get sitting on a Spanish bench. And let's not pretend this would be a just-in-case signing. Hein would either light a fire under Butland and force him to raise his game to another level, or outright take the #1 shirt. At 23, he could be the club's long-term answer in goal, growing alongside the likes of JD Gassama, Findlay Curtis, and Lyle Cameron, all young players making their mark in big matches under Martin's watch. The move makes footballing sense, it makes squad-building sense, and it sends a message to Celtic that Rangers aren't here to tinker. They're here to build a side that can dominate for years. But there's one thing still up for debate. If Karl Hein walks into Ibrox this month, should Russell Martin have the courage to start him straight away and drop Jack Butland? Or would that be throwing away one of Rangers' biggest assets? Cyriel Dessers has just given you the clearest sign yet that he's not going anywhere. At least not this summer. The 30-year-old Nigerian striker, who looked all but certain to swap Ibrox for Athens earlier in the window, now seems ready to fight on in Rangers' colours. AEK Athens thought they had him, even lining up a £30,000 a week deal for him. But Rangers' new American owners refused to be pushed around, standing firm on a £5 million asking price. Russell Martin confirmed after the frustrating draw at Motherwell that Dessers was the only player to receive concrete bids, and yet when Victoria Pleasant rolled into Govan midweek, there he was, leading the line, winning a penalty, converting it with ice in his veins, and then setting up another in a comfortable 3-0 victory. That's the sort of performance that makes you wonder if letting him go would ever have made sense. Then came the moment that set tongues wagging. Outside Ibrox, mingling with supporters, Dessers was asked straight out if he was staying or going. His answer, a smile, a laugh, and, looks like I'm staying, huh? I'm here today, huh? That's not the language of a man packing his bags. It's the tone of someone who's settled, who knows he's got a role to play in a title race, and who perhaps feels he's got unfinished business in Glasgow since arriving from Cremonese in a £4.5 million deal last year. Dessers has racked up 52 goals and 17 assists in just 113 appearances, a strike rate plenty of clubs would kill for. 10 sides wanted him in January, but he stayed, coming within a whisker of 30 goals for the season. Now, with Rangers chasing Champions League football and trying to rip the Premiership crown from Celtic, keeping a proven finisher might be worth more than any transfer fee. The way he slotted that penalty against Plzen, the way he linked play, the way he looked physically sharp, this is not a player going through the motions. And with the window ticking down, the longer he's here, the harder it will be to justify letting him leave. If Dessers has indeed decided to stay, should Russell Martin make him the absolute focal point of Rangers' attack, even if it means blocking the path for a potential new striker coming in? It looks like Nobel Mendy won't be pulling on the Rangers shirt. After all, the 20-year-old Real Betis defender, who can slot in at both centre-back and left-back, had reportedly agreed personal terms with Rangers, but the final decision has gone the way of Rayo Vallecano. Spanish reports are now treating his move there as a done deal, with only the formalities left. Russell Martin had made no secret of his desire to add more steel to the backline before the window shuts. Even after bringing in Nasser Giga, Emmanuel Fernandez, and Max Aarons, there was a clear plan to add someone with Mendy's profile, left-footed, 6'if", 2-in, and versatile enough to cover multiple roles. His ability to slot in for someone like Rıdvan Yılmaz, should the Turkish fullback move on, would have been invaluable. Mendy's career numbers don't leap off the page. 34 appearances for Betis's B team, a handful for the first team in La Liga and the Conference League, but his physical presence and adaptability made him an exciting project for Ibrox. He's only 20, with experience in 2 major European leagues, and could have been developed into a first-choice option in time. But with Vallecano winning the race, Rangers are left back at the drawing board. Alternatives like Connor Cody were already looked at, though he's now off to Wrexham. Time is running out to land someone with the same blend of youth, size, and positional flexibility. And with Champions League qualifiers looming, the margin for error in recruitment is tiny. Missing out on Mendy is a blow, but maybe it's also a sign that Rangers need to stop chasing projects and go all in on someone ready to start tomorrow. Should Rangers abandon the hunt for another young defender and instead spend big on an experienced leader who can instantly command the backline? Kris Boyd reckons there's only one realistic way Rangers could take advantage of their new Leeds United connection, and it's not by cherry-picking Premier League regulars. The takeover at Ibrox has brought in the 49ers Enterprises and Andrew Kavanagh, creating a direct link with Leeds, who are also under 49ers ownership. But Boyd's not getting carried away with dreams of big names strolling up Edmiston Drive. According to him, the two clubs are fishing in very different waters. Leeds are recruiting for survival and stability in the Premier League. Rangers are chasing dominance in Scotland and progress in Europe. Styles, scouting profiles, and tactical needs don't line up. Boyd can't see players who've been thriving in Leeds' top-flight system suddenly slotting straight into Russell Martin's setup, and vice versa. Where he does see an opening is with those players who shone for Leeds in the Championship but now find themselves surplus to requirements in the Premier League. That's where Rangers might sniff out value, proven quality at a high level, but available because they're stuck behind expensive signings. In the meantime, Boyd expects plenty of movement out of Ibrox before the window slams shut. McCausland's already gone to Cyprus, Proper's left, and Yilmaz looks set for a return home. Dessers and Igamane are still attracting interest, and the squad is too bloated for comfort. There's also the glaring left-back issue. Max Aarons has been plugging the gap alongside Jeff Day, but that's not a long-term solution. Boyd's adamant that position needs a proper fix if Rangers want to take a step forward and finally put years of underperformance behind them. If the Leeds Link is going to be used, should Rangers go all in on taking one of their Championship-era standouts, even if it means paying a premium to get proven English League quality into Ibrox? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.